dichotomy in the black community of the haves and the have-nots, the brokies and the bag securers, has roots in slavery. The first division were the free blacks and the slaves. Then among the slaves, there were outside slaves and house slaves, a caste system that came with privileges for the latter group. These privileges were usually in the form of better food and less physical labor, better clothing, and better access to education, as some slave owners believed smarter house slaves meant a more efficient house. Being in the house also meant more frequent interactions with whites, which often included sexual harassment and assault. But it also meant something else. The rape of black women begat light-skinned children with superiority complexes, and even resulted in inheritances of money or land. Along with some freed blacks who had managed to work for wages before emancipation and save up for their coins, the children of rape and the privileges they received were the initial seeds of wealth in the black community after emancipation. The emergence of what would come to be known as HBCUs, or historically black colleges and universities in the 1860s, created a stepping stone and status symbol for those few blacks who could afford to attend. Because of their money and often their proximity to whiteness, they were able to begin careers in medicine, dentistry, and law. They would start funeral homes, banks, insurance companies, and newspapers. All of these professions were highly necessary, especially because of the rigid segregation of the era. And these doctors, lawyers, and entrepreneurs would become the upper black class. They moved close to progressive cities and black universities, away from most of the poor Negroes in rural southern enclaves. These newly moneyed blacks made their homes in Chicago, Detroit, New York, Philly, Tuskegee, and later Atlanta. They attended black Episcopal or congregational churches where the vibes were formal, with well-educated clergy and small and exclusive membership lists. They donated funds to various philanthropic efforts and supported civil rights efforts through organizations like the NAACP. But for a long time, they also kept their vast wealth and minimal political power concentrated amongst themselves. They established still surviving societies and social clubs that many blacks today still haven't heard of, let alone know how to join, like Boulé, Lynx, and Jack and Jill. Boulé is an all-male society that greatly influences black politics, and most of its members are historically wealthy and well-connected. Jack and Jill is a children's society founded in 1938 by a small group of upper-class black women who wanted to create a playgroup where their kids could mingle with the right kind of people. Through this highly privileged program, children are introduced to educational, social, and cultural experiences the average black child from the hood can only dream of. They get early exposure to professional careers and are provided a network of friends and opportunities that help them get extra help to the top. These kids and teens nurtured lifelong bonds, and throughout the 20th century, it was common for them to find their marriage partners at monthly Jack and Jill meetings, limiting the possibility of inter-class dating, or more bluntly, dating down. Because Jack and Jill has historically extended memberships by invitation only, with no application fees, and you get in by knowing someone who already belongs, those with wealth, professional circles, and private school credentials make up the bulk of the membership. But to be clear, it was reported that membership grew in the 70s and 80s as more black Americans moved into the suburbs than ever before. And the organization changed its mission to, quote, reflect the isolation felt by many blacks living in predominantly white suburbs. Instead of helping blacks assimilate into white culture, the organization is seeking to instill a sense of ethnic pride in suburban black children. But this still left out a large chunk of black children who would have benefited. This kind of class-based privilege was probably what W.E.B. Du Bois had in mind when he first began promoting the talented 10th. But before addressing him, let's run it back to Booker T. Washington, who adamantly promoted industrial education in the concept of the black community, focusing on economic progress and betterment rather than acquiring political and civil rights. The only way to do this was, of course, by sacrificing black lives to white supremacy, as Washington lived during the nadir of American race relations, when anti-black violence was especially harsh and frequent. While most inaugural members of the black upper class began purchasing nice clothes, cars, and homes to fit in with a white America rapidly becoming obsessed with consumerism, mass lynchings, voter suppression, and discrimination raged across the country for the average black person. But that's not to say the black upper class didn't face their own discrimination, nor were they not doing anything for progress. In addition to charitable donations, in their view, by showcasing the elite black community and demonstrating their wealth and pedigree, they weren't only proving their humanity to white people, but lifting up the lower black class classes as shining examples for how to attain wealth and behave. The whole thing reeked of classist respectability politics, insinuating that poor blacks were stuck in their positions because of behavior, not systemic race and class issues. This ideology, known as the talented 10th, was crafted by white liberal philanthropists who wanted to train a class of black elites to support white liberal interests and teach other blacks. W.E.B. Du Bois publicized the term the talented 10th as a leadership class of 1 in 10 black men who could best serve the community by getting classical educations and attaining wealth. Black children of the upper class, as described by Lawrence Otis Graham in his book Our Kind of People, and Margot Jefferson in her book Negroland, were encouraged to think of themselves as elite members of their race, who were to serve as examples for the rest of the community. At black college campuses like Howard, students were subjected to the elitist status quo. Howard was founded in 1867, but didn't see its first black president until 1926, and he was extremely light-skinned. Colorism thrived in all corners of the black upper class, with members encouraged to lighten skin, press unruly hair, and even obtain facial surgery in the later half of the 20th century when operations were more accessible. At Howard in 1928, a frustrated student wrote about the colorism in the school's Greek community, saying, "We are not so surprised when we hear such rumors and reports about institutions of learning owned, controlled, and attended by white people, but it certainly comes as a great shock and causes a feeling of shame when we hear such news about Negro colleges. At first glance, it would seem incredible that Negroes, themselves the victims of ignorant prejudice and discrimination because of color, should follow the lead of the Nordics." Howard itself was apolitical for the first half of its existence, as it wanted to be seen as a black Harvard or Yale. Initially, students were concerned with being respectable members of the upper class, but by the late 60s, more students had become aligned with the civil rights and black power movements. Elitism and classism could still be found lurking in the fraternities and sororities, however, as belonging to these exclusive organizations meant not only being able to afford college, but membership dues as well. Hopefully you've noticed that a recurring theme in the creation and sustaining of the black upper class is access to resources, most predominantly education. While many members of the black upper class, who make up most black Republicans, will champion personal responsibility and bootstrap narratives as the keys to lifting unfortunate Negroes out of poverty, this clashes directly with their history. It started with black people who were freed from bondage early and allowed to work while others toiled away in slavery. It continued with those blacks who were gifted money, land, or education, while the rest were locked in subservience or living under the worst conditions of Jim Crow. Since the beginning of the 20th century, these upper-class blacks were not always self-reliant, as they had networks of wealthy family members and friends, access to the right clubs and opportunities, and money and time for enrollment in good grade schools and colleges. They had resources, they had each other, and more than that, they had a lower class of blacks who contributed to their wealth. Madam C.J. Walker, the first quote-unquote self-made black millionaire, sold her hair products to black people. When she was building her 20,000 square foot house in Irvington, New York in 1917, a white woman remarked to New York Times, "Impossible. No woman of her race could afford such a place." The various black men who amassed fortune by selling life insurance policies did so through the wallets of black clients. I could list out every entrepreneur and how they made their money similarly through black customers, but instead I'll drive home the point. Just like today, there was no room for everybody to be black beauty suppliers or black insurers or black newspaper owners. This is why I really hate it when certain people act like everyone in the black community is one eyelash or t-shirt company away from being a millionaire. For capitalism to remain super lucrative for the few, they must concentrate ownership and resources among themselves. Otherwise, they'd have nobody to sell to, nobody to serve, nobody to profit from. So ultimately, there's always a group of impoverished people being bombarded with both consumerist fantasies of status symbols like fancy cars and clothes, and accusations of laziness, lack of determination, and government mooching. Speaking of alleged government mooching, since at least the late 70s, many members of the black upper class have advocated politically against welfare and government aid in a few ways, and there are definitely reasons to be concerned about the black elite's impact on the rest of us. Nowadays, the black elite includes more than just old moneyed families and professionals. It includes celebs, athletes, and politicians. 3 occupations that black people have only seen wide success in the past few decades. These are some of the same people who don't feel the full burden of racial oppression because they're not only wealthy, but also have greater access to resources and people with power. The classist attitudes they have about poor blacks carries over into their politics, their devastatingly influential public personas, and their personal actions. Of course, you've got the obvious black Republicans who buy into myths about welfare queens and lazy hoodlums squandering opportunities for fun vacations to prison, but then they're aided by centrist voices like the now disgraced Bill Cosby, who in between rapes spent years pouring money into HBCUs and scholarships, but at the same time is berating poor blacks for wearing baggy pants or being ghetto as if those were the reasons for their circumstances, even going so far as to suggest that racism was used as a crutch for poverty. It was classist and elitist blacks like Cosby who endorsed ordinances that would ban baggy pants in the 2000s and who went along with racist dog whistles about thugs when Trayvon Martin, Mike Brown, and others lost their lives in the years to come. Classist respectability politics do more than just concentrate wealth and power or lead to black people being shot in the streets by cops who never face punishments. Respectability politics approves state-sanctioned violence against black people in prison. As adherents love to point out, if you don't want to go to prison, don't commit a crime. Like this country doesn't systematically ensnare people of color into the mass industrial complex through poverty and neglect. Congressman Charles Rangel, a Democrat, was a supporter in Nixon's White House of revving up the war on drugs. He founded the nonpartisan but still mostly Democrat Congressional Black Caucus, which voted to defund rehabilitation centers, fund more prisons, and agreed with harsh legislation for drug offenders. This wasn't the first or last time a Democratic black member of the upper class would ignore class and race realities to make judgment calls on the poor black community. In 2008, Obama made a speech about absentee black fathers and its connection to black progress, a typical talking point from people looking down on ghetto blacks that neglects mass incarceration and the less than stellar track record of white parents. And then, along with all of the black politicians reeking of classism, you've got it permeating hip-hop and black culture. If you listen to the music,
Why not go and work and come back and you so out there at your fool? What's up with you? Better get off, boy. Had to go walk by that store, check out the scene. You alright? What are you watching?
This YouTube content creator, she talking about classism in the black community, like the history of classism in the black community, and how,
And PBD hit me back and said, that shit feel like we've been out. That shit I feel like old days chilling in Hydro. Like chilling. PBD I really tapped in. I like, damn, that nigga bring me back. Nigga bring me back, boy. But where you need to get my save my number. I just pull back up.
That new music coming, man. That new music coming for real, for real.
Like, yeah, that's the one. That's the one they talking about. You been on my audio mat. You hear that Rescue Me?
I ain't really have fuck with that audio mac shit.
I get out with you.
That audio mac thing look foreign to me, bro.
See, but that's a platform where you get play. See, this the difference. My bad, I ain't got no belt on. Thank you too. Damn,
I'm gonna check them out now. I'm gonna check them out.
Yeah,
that's it. I like the web. I like the web.
And hold up. And something else you gotta say Post and Courier. That's Post and Courier like media. I got a song called Post and Courier where a dude from Missouri give me the beat. Me and him did a collaboration and he give me the beat and I already dropped on it. I take it down because I put it on tape too.
I had to say Post and Courier worthy because like that's some headline and
like
shit.
That's crazy. That's one of my titles. The title of the song, well, me and him did. I ain't had no title, so the first thing I come up with is Post and Courier, media, voice, news, network. So I just dropped the title is Post and Courier.
Hold up. Now, this video she talking about right here is when black people own black people
What's
own
up, cuz?
America's beaches. Like,
Beach?
I've been
The
looking for
beach?
this video. I think it's the one where she gonna
Check
talk
this
about
out.
Skeeter Beach.
So you already know we are on all the water, right?
All right.
We all our people been living by the water. We all been living by the water. We had
Right.
beach houses, my nigga. Nobody ran us off
That
there.
wasn't the desirable land back then. The
Yeah, we
desirable
had
land.
beach houses, my nigga.
Yeah.
I on that. We had them beach houses. I can't wait till my hair grows so I get them dreads back in that thing.
The original down the island been right there by the bridge, right there when you coming off the back end of Dill's Block. Where them nice houses at? Your phone done dead again, boy. You keep a dead phone now. Your phone steady bling-a-ling. But like I've been trying to tell my cousin, the original black community where we from by the water. In the early, in the early 20th century. Then around 19. I've been seeing.
You're gonna get something to eat
I've,
right quick.
I've been seeing like
Oh,
how
shit, man. I talk about still leaving the man outside.
the original down the island, but in that area right there, Dill's Bluff by the bridge. That been the original down the island by the water.
That's you good?
Them people buy that stuff up in 1920 something. They
Hold
start
up, just
getting,
listen to this hook.
yeah.
Long way shit. Yo. And we ain't had no heads off. They running back from the beginning. See a lot about us, never mentioned we been spending, huh? And none of them days when we been winning, huh? Lord, when I get down on my knees and I'm asking God, can you rescue me? I got tats all on my sleeves and he hard to let go. Yeah. Put me in the gym, I got ballin' on my mind. Quick to tell a nigga, we ain't on the same type of time. Don't talk about me through the wind, but they ain't stop shit. You a talk shot away your drop list. Baby rubbing on me, kiss the tats on my face now. Catch a heart lacking, then I gotta catch a greyhound. Y'all need to slide, but for real, it's in the playground. White a lot of childhood friends in the grid now. And not like many man. Wish death upon me, got me feeling just like 50. I really wrote this song with that Glock sitting with me. I try to see the news, so I really watching TV. I tell them we been spending sitting around, they ain't believe me. Damn, I hoping they don't turn around and need me. R.I.P. you money, pre my dog, know I must have might gon' bump. Ain't nobody about to play me like no pussy. Crazy how I leave you died this Christmas. See February and I really miss her. Remember you, I see me from them people. Nobody ever take the place of Lisa. And brought up play with that, we get angry. And my granddaddy gone, he gotta leave a lot. And when he been alive, I only thought I had a block. My whole family hood famous. They don't play about each other in the jungle, it get dangerous. Lord, I get down on my knees.
Like coming.
God, can you rescue me? I got tats all on my sleeves and he hard to let go. But that's the outro. And we ain't had no head start. They're running back from the beginning. They see a lot about us, never mentioned we been spending, huh? And none of them days when we been winning, huh? Lord, when I get down on my knees and I'm asking God, can you rescue me? I got cats all on my sleeve, hard to let go. Let go.
What do you think? Rescue me.
I done tell you, you big speaking right now, bro. Like I ain't
I
even
ain't gonna
rap.
lie. When it be like they be snapping, I sit back like, boy, I really low key be snapping trap.
Right. Always like from from the
Ben.
from the cradle.
Yeah. Freestyle days, Ben snapping.
Yeah. So it's like just like how you been saying I got tats on my sleeve and he hard to let go. That just you saying
I
that shit
see.
deeply
Listen,
rooted.
a lot of people ain't catch that. I know you catch that.
Yeah, that shit deeply rooted. That shit
Like
in you.
it's certain shit about me. Basically, it wasn't saying like I got hidden skeletons. It's more like I got shit I've been through that it hard to say. I let you slide. It hard to let you slide in some of the shit that I've been through.
And
Yeah.
ain't necessarily exercising the
No, I said it hard to let you slide. Like
yeah, but
it hard to
ain't
forgive after
right.
man.
No,
Like
that
think about it. Think about this in an open eye.
right, right,
When I come back down the way, when I come back home, right? I call down the way home. So when I come
right.
back home, right? It like it's not a bad thing, but this just facts. After all what done happened, and to come around and people you ain't even so much as had a problem with it. Just people who we ain't really been really tight with chilling with. You see what I'm saying? And then people who I put trust in and be twisting fingers out with. And then when I see them boy maneuvering with them boy, that should make my eyes do different shit inside my brain, dog. So once I see that shit, so now I understand why. That's why I put the post up the deal. I said, man, I'll never forget who jumped me off the porch. You know what I mean? So I understand why Bolo really had that renegade act. You know what I mean? And you can't control that shit. You can't tell your family not to hang with your family, but your other family that did you dirty. You see what I'm saying? So he's nasty. Them niggas don't understand. He real nasty where it really come from. That shit get now. Y'all talking about homeboys. We can let a homeboy go. I can't
Dog.
just down all out my cousin.
People been telling me not to be. You heard it. You said people's that nappy head dog grand. But
Word.
but hold up. Nappy
I ain't never
head
change on you. I ain't never
nappy head
change.
dog grand ain't never take nothing from me.
Never did. Never did. Never slime. Every been information you been lacking on, I give that shit to you for free. I ain't never been like that, dog. I ain't know what
We
kind of
ain't,
pit.
but ain't even been expected or had to even be that because at the end of the day, we've been knee high to a grasshopper in the
Right.
same place
And
at
by
the same
just the
time.
same respect I had to give my little brother. You know what I mean? I can't go back and forth with you and be mad at you because of your opinion on who I is or how I been raised up. You feel me? So that's why I like take it personal, but in the same light, he like this right there. I can't I can't hold you accountable for what somebody else telling you. Somebody telling you I a fuck nigga and then I sitting there doing all kind of pure shit and helping you. I can't go against that.
The crazy
That's you
the
letting them
crazy
boys
thing is
say. What's up?
we been could have peep like you say earlier, we had big vision with no guidance.
None. Name a nigga who took over. We really took over. When you say when I get that from you, you tell me, man, my nigga, we ain't even follow tradition. So right there, let me know our little squad made history. Nigga, that
Yeah,
shit was lemon tree. We turned that shit into tree side.
yeah. We make the sign. We make the sign.
We make the
We
sign.
we make the sign.
We been throwing
We
we been
make the
twisting
sign, bro.
fingers before we know what gang banging is. So when we doing our little hood dap, family connected dap, them boys thinking we gang banging. Your favorite color, that's my favorite color. That niggas ain't even gang banging. Niggas just really eating. Niggas just doing how they come up. You feel me? So like
the culture,
God damn.
part.
Why you run
We
into me?
create, we merge
Oh,
cultures.
them low girl. They
We
fat
take
though. I can't
then
lie. She is fat.
you have people like me and you who had a lot of West shit, who damn merged. Like me, you and Sadie Boy. Me, you and
Yeah.
Sadie
How
Boy
y'all doing?
bring me, you and Sadie Boy bring a lot of West shit to the island
Yeah. Well,
and connect
don't say West because I grew up. My mom used to live downtown. My mom and I
downtown.
live in
Yeah,
North
yeah,
Charleston.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
I'll just say we bring a lot of city shit to the country.
yeah. Right.
City.
And even the city, the small city of Charleston, if you want to call it small, brought other shit from tourists and all kind of shit being connected. Like we been so connected, so we done merged all them cultures and
Yeah.
created something and
And the
create
one
something.
and when we walk one. So when I walk, the nigga move, he work, he country, but at the same time, he like to stay clean like a city boy. But I don't
Dirt road
understand
city slicker.
this nigga
I
will get
always say
dirty,
dirt
but
road city
he get
slicker.
clean in the same thing.
I used to be mad at you because my shoe used to get dirty.
I know
We
how
walked through
that.
the same path. The same path.
That
And look
shit.
at my shoe dirty as a bitch. This
I just
nigga shoe
walk light.
still white.
My shit still like that. I just been to
That's
work
the
and all,
last
and
name. You
I
had to
done been
keep
to
that
work
shit.
and all.
That's the white part of it. Diana Williams, that's the white part.
I am boy. He's something. He's something. Yeah, like, bro, I be glad to talk to y'all, boy. Like, I don't be that far and I don't be that busy. I just be, I make myself busy so I can stay out the way. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of shit was going on. I ain't got no part in that, so I ain't want no part in
It
that.
can't it
So
can't
like,
affect it can't affect you out of sight, out of mind type of shit.
right, I own that.
But I had peeped your YouTube, that last part of that playlist that you just had did. I had need that shit
Oh, you
in
talk
a
about
way.
my you talk about the Art of Karma? I'm gonna start dropping stuff like that. Art of Karma. Art of Karma, I gotta start dropping that because I mean I gotta start showing face because they ain't really this way yet. Like I really like that. I really all out there for real.
And
Like
we've been building before we know what building been. Like we
I know
just
for sure me and you was.
been that. Like we really is that. And that's I think I used to be shy about it or shoo on the
I
rock.
used to be judgmental, like I ain't want nobody to judge me. I don't want nobody to think I am Muslim. The whole time I don't practice no religion. I just believe in God and I understand certain ways of life. That shit move different. That shit move different.
Man, when
You good?
MJG said on top of the world,
Let me
he
me
said,
get
first
top.
of all, I believe in
White.
God. I'm coming out hard and I can finish everything. You can start across my heart.
White.
You know what I mean?
Um,
We top of the world, man.
nah.
You on top of the
Yeah.
world, man. We at the top of the world on the bottom of the map.
Let me get another scoop. Okay, go ahead.
We at the bottom of the map, but we on top of the world, bro.
Top of the world, bottom of the totem pole. Matter of fact, top of the food chain, but bottom of the totem pole sound better.
All right.
Yeah, damn, I want that shit toasted. That's great. Yeah, I good. You can still toast something like that. Put the cheese on them. You can get cheese. Some of the, what is the leaf lettuce right here? All right, well, give me the cheese. American. Yeah.
The thing is, he always more pre than he is predator.
Yeah,
But
you're right.
the thing is, we live in a nation and a
Yeah,
society.
he whooped that thing out. Yes, ma'am. Have a good day.
We live amongst a society where the pre
Carla.
the pre gets so slick.
Hey, we
The
just
pre,
talked about you. So what my name was? Damn, That's crazy.
That's seeing
That's
you.
me.
I know
That's
that's why I
me.
was looking at you. I was like, wait, I will look too hard.
Yeah, that's me. Damn, I detail them cars. I got my own apartment around the corner.
Really?
Yeah, I got my own business. I detail cars and everything.
You on Facebook?
Yeah.
I heard call out.
Mom in the hospital.
Really?
My boy rushed mom in the hospital the other day for open heart surgery. No, ain't no way you slipping like that. No, I think I just had seen you a friend request. Yeah, Tijuana got mama phone.
Okay.
Word. I take let me get a little bit of that lettuce and regular lettuce. Yeah, that's me. I sit there, I look at you, I still couldn't find it. I see you now. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. That's me. Good seeing you. What your last name was on the book?
Godfrey.
I'm gonna go in your inbox and drop my info.
Because I always see Nico every now and then.
Word. You're the top of the food chain at the bottom of the totem pole. That's like, he always more prey than predator. But we live in a society where the identity is kind of messed up because a lot of the predators have been fooled into thinking they prey. And a lot of the prey think they predators. And a lot of the prey preying on the predators, and a lot of the predators preying on other predators. So it really messed the whole food chain up. If you ain't at the top of the food chain, the top, like true top, everybody food. Everybody food. Everybody food. That's real. Everybody food. Everybody food. So I would be like a dog eat dog world. At the end of the day, that's some true shit, but I ain't trying to be a crab in a barrel. I ain't trying to be a fish in an aquarium. I'm trying to be a whole nother species. I ain't even trying to be. I am another species. I'm not the same kind of creature as you can see me and my cousin talking about. We ain't the same kind of creatures. Me and him ain't even the same kind of creatures. Individually,